What's up YouTube? Thanks for kicking it with me today. I thought it'd be a fun video to gather all of my Boost sneakers and rank them in order from best to worst. I'm actually going to be ranking all these Boost sneakers in 3 different categories. 1 is comfort and performance, 2 lifestyle and aesthetic, and 3 quality per value. So here's a lineup of my current Boost sneaker collection. I got the Terrex Hikers, the Y3 Pureboost in all white, Ultraboost Mids, I5923s, previously known as the Inikis, Pureboost DPRs. These are the NMD City Sock 2s, the Parley collaboration in this light blue colorway. These are the Ultraboost 2.0s, the Ultraboost 1.0s in the solar yellow or Volt colorway. These are the NMD R2s, NMD Prime Knit 1s in the static or white noise colorway. And lastly, the Ultraboost 4.0s in the all white colorway. So of course, the thing that all these sneakers have in common is Boost technology. Otherwise, I do understand that each of these sneakers serve a different purpose. They all have different silhouettes. They all serve a different function. So at the end of the video, this is obviously my personal opinion having worn all these sneakers, but I thought it'd be a fun opportunity to just rank each of these sneakers in different categories and just give you guys a better idea of what's really good in what category and what's not, and so on and so forth. At the end of the video, let me know if you agree or disagree with my list, but otherwise, let's get into it. So the first category I'm ranking all these Boost sneakers in is a comfort and performance. So here is my ranking from the most comfortable to the least comfortable. So of course, you know I had to put the Ultraboosts on the top of the list. They all have the sock-like fit, they all have the Prime Knit uppers, and they all have the Continental Boost on the bottom. If anything, I'm not sure if I'm tripping, but it seems like the boost height on the 1.0s, the height of the boost seems to get a little larger. So in comparison, the 1.0s seem to have just a slight bit less boost than the 2.0, and the 2.0 seems to have a little less boost than the 4.0s. Either way, I think if there's a little bit more boost, then that actually makes the sneaker a tiny bit less comfortable. I prefer a little less boost because I like being a little lower to the ground and I don't need too much of that shock absorption. But again, it's really a negligible difference and all the Ultra Boosts are on the top of this comfort list. Next on this comfort list is my Pureboost DPRs. These are actually my go-to running shoes. I pretty much beat these up to the ground and I love these as my running shoes. They're super comfortable, they have a lot of miles in them, and I really can't complain about these because they really gave me no problems at all. I would technically probably run into Ultra Boosts, but because they are trendier and they are more expensive, I didn't want to beat them up, so these were the next best thing, and again, I have no complaints. I had to put these NMD R2s next. I feel like these NMDs are the equivalent of Nike's Roshe Run or Nike's Cortez. You know, it's just that classic sneaker that goes with a lot of things. It's very versatile. These NMDs are really comfortable. They have a lot of boost in them also. I pretty much walked around with these a lot for long day walking activities. Walked around Disneyland, went to a couple festivals in these. And again, I had no complaints walking around in these all day long. Next on this comfort list is the Terrex Hiker. If you haven't seen it yet, feel free to click up here to check out my in-depth review of these Terrex Hikers. But again, for this being a sneaker boot or a hiking boot or a hiking sneaker, this was a really great shoe. Of course, the aesthetic of these are obviously more rugged than everything else on this table, but considering its function as a hiking shoe, it definitely served its purpose and it did a really good job at it. Next up on this list is the NMD City Sock, the Parley Collaboration Edition. I actually like these. These are actually surprisingly comfortable. You have the fly knit upper, you have the sock-like fit, you have the high-rise ankle collar here. This is actually pretty easy to put on and take off considering the opening is wide. I've also worn these all day long on a couple of trips. I actually went hiking in these, like a casual easy hike, and they held up really well. So I like these a lot. They're actually really comfortable. But again, they're not as comfortable as everything that precedes it on this list. It's a little flimsier than the Terrex Hiker. It obviously doesn't have as much structure, hence why it's next on the list. Coming after the NMD City Socks are the Ultraboost Mid. So with these, you have the comfort of the Ultraboost Low, but the thing that really docked these down on the list, the mid-height ankle collar on these, was just not comfortable at all. It's a really challenging shoe to put on and take off because the opening is so narrow and so small. But again, once it's on, it's really comfortable. It has the comfort of an Ultraboost Low, but just the process of taking on and off the sneaker was really a hassle, and I had to dock down a lot of points for that. Next up is the I5923, or the Inikis. I'm just gonna call them Inikis, it's easier for me. Next up is the Inikis, and again, this is a really classic sneaker that's very cheap, but just not as comfortable as anything else before it on this list. The upper is just very flimsy, really has no structure. The heel support is very limited compared to everything else before it. Comfort-wise, they're good for running errands or, you know, just very casual walks, but definitely not as structured or as comfortable as anything before it on this list. Moving towards the end of this list here, the next one I have, and I'm sad to say this one, but the next one on the list is the Y3 Pureboost. I really like the aesthetic of this shoe, and obviously it's the most expensive on this list as well, but the comfort is just not there. The upper on these, I don't think it's prime knit. It's like a firm, meshy material, but again, it doesn't feel as stretchy or as breathable as the Ultraboost. These shoes did not come with an insole either, so you're pretty much, your foot is just straight on a very thin plastic cage that separates your foot from the Boost outsole. What I did kind of like about the design though is the tongue. It has a unique tongue shape that kind of has a little split right in the middle that kind of gives you a little breathing room for your shin area. But aside from that, again, it's not a horribly uncomfortable shoe by any means, but it's just not anywhere near as comfortable as anything else above this list. And the last one on this list, I'm sad to say this one too, but I would say the NMD Prime Knit version, and this is the static colorway specifically, is last on this list. A couple complaints I had about this shoe. It also did not come with an insole, and there's this plastic part in the heel that is really uncomfortable for me, especially when I'm driving. When I'm driving, I have to have my heel on the ground, but with this plastic cage on the heel area, it's just digging right into the bone and the Achilles area of my heel, and it just makes it unbearable to drive after 10-15 minutes. I have to keep readjusting my foot, or sometimes I even want to take my foot off. Or sometimes I even want to take my shoe off. They're an alright sneaker to walk in all day and have on my feet when I'm walking all day long, but aside from that, again, it's the weakest contender on this list. Phew! Alright, that was the first list. Let's move on to the next category, which is lifestyle and aesthetic. So here's my order from best to worst in the lifestyle, aesthetic, fashion category. Of course, you know I had to put the Y3s on top. The silhouette is pretty unique. The tongue, as I mentioned earlier, has a unique shape as well that makes it stylish. This goes good with a lot of different outfits. You could wear it with shorts, you could wear it with jeans. And with these, I really like the color blocking. It's just a really clean sneaker, and I just had to put these on the top of the list. Next, I had to put the NMD Prime Knits. I think it's specific to this colorway, but I would say in general too. It's a really stylish and sleek looking silhouette. I like this colorway really. It reminds me of the Kith collab, but either way, the colors are unique. The silhouette is sleek and stylish. Also goes with a lot of outfits, and I had to put them number 2. Next up, I had to put the NMD City Socks. I put these really high on the list because I felt like these shoes were kind of one of the earlier silhouettes or sneakers that pioneered the whole sneaker sock movement. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Balenciaga City Sock, or what do you call it, Street Sock, was influenced by this sneaker right here. It's a stylish and unique sneaker that you don't really see often, but again, it breaks some fashion boundaries, and I like how it looks on feet. Next up on this list are the NMD R2s and the Inikis. Both of these silhouettes I feel like are somewhat on par with each other in terms of just versatility and style. They're very easy silhouettes to wear with anything, shorts, jeans, joggers, and I feel like they're very well respected silhouettes within both sneakerheads and non-sneakerheads. So again, style-wise, these two are pretty much tied, I would say, but they're up there. I think this is gonna be a surprise to some people, but I had to put the Ultraboost family next. It surprised me a little bit too, because I think there's a lot of hype and a lot of people think it's higher. My opinion is that I put them lower because, again, the silhouette is almost too sleek for me. It definitely has a runner or trainer silhouette, and so it looks almost too much like a running shoe versus a versatile, stylish shoe. Obviously, it's in style because of the hype hype, but if it wasn't for the hype, I think the Ultraboost aesthetically looks a little lower on the list. Of course, with the Ultraboost family, the Ultraboost mids are lower than the lows. The mids are just, I mean, they look nice to me, but they're just hard to wear. They don't look good in shorts at all. The ankle collar looks awkward when you're just exposing your ankles. By itself, it looks great, but it's really hard to pull off outfits, and versatility is just not quite there. Moving towards the end of the list here are the Terrex Hikers. I actually feel like these should be higher on the list in respect to its category. Again, considering that it is a hiking sneaker, it looks great, but versatility-wise, you can't really, well, you can, but it doesn't feel as versatile just wearing these casually every day. These are definitely very meant to be outdoors, to be out on rugged terrain and hiking, camping, things like that. But in that respect, again, I would score this really high, but just for overall versatility, you just can't wear these every day like everything else above the list. And then of course last you got the Pureboost DPRs. As I mentioned earlier, this is my go-to running shoe that I just beat up. And again, it's just a straight up running shoe. I don't think these look really good fashion-wise. That's why I had to put them last, but yeah. All right, the last category I wanted to rank these shoes here is in regards to quality, per price, per value. This category, I'm just basically, considering the price point, the versatility, and the overall value of what you get. And so here's my list from best to worst. Top sneaker on this list, I have to give it to the Inikis here. This is definitely the cheapest shoe on this list, but it's also the most versatile. It's very easy to wear, very easy to style, and serves many purposes. And for that reason, I had to rank these number one. Coming up to a very close second, you have the NMD R2s. It's a very versatile sneaker. You can find these well under $100 a lot of times. And it's just a well-respected sneaker, both within sneakerheads and non-sneakerheads. And so for that reason, this is number two. These are actually a surprise third for me, but I thought it's a good reason to put it number three. These are the NMD City Socks. You can find really cheap right now, easily $50 to $70 range, but you get a lot of unique style with these. Maybe not as versatile, but again, it's definitely a head turner. It's a unique style, it's very comfortable. For that reason, number three. Next up on the list is the Terrex Hiker. I feel like I love these sneakers so much. They're just really comfortable, and in respect to its category and function as a hiking sneaker, Adidas did a really good job with these. They're really comfortable, they have really good grip, they serve its purpose really well, and they're also really stylish too. So for that reason, I had to put these next at number four. Moving on are the Ultraboost family. Pretty much for all the Ultraboosts, I went 1.0, 2.0, and 4.0s. I feel like the 1.0s are always going to be the best ones in terms of both comfort, hype, fashion, style. And yeah, I think this might be a surprise to a lot of people, but again, I think these are definitely a little more on the expensive end. Retail price is $180. I'm sure you can find these on sale nowadays, but just considering the price point in relation to the other ones before, they're definitely more expensive, and I feel like you're just paying for hype a lot of times when you're wearing these, at least some of the certain colorways anyway. Although they are really, really comfortable, again, I feel like for the price you're paying with these, you can pretty much buy these that I mentioned earlier that are almost equally as comfortable, a lot more versatile, and again, it's just there are more affordable options. Next is the Pureboost DPRs. Again, as my running shoe, these are super comfortable and they're great for running specifically. It's not known to be a stylish shoe, which is why it's lower on the list. Price range is pretty much the same as the NMDs. You can find these for $60 to $80, something like that. But for that value, there are better options, as I mentioned. The NMD Prime Knits are, again, very stylish in my opinion, as mentioned in the previous category. But comfort-wise, it's just not quite there. And again, I just had to score these pretty low on the list, unfortunately, mainly because of the pain thing. These are probably the ones that give me the most pain. Style-wise, I like them a lot, but for the reason of comfort or lack thereof, I had to put these low. They're also a little pricier too than the regular NMDs. Second to last are the Ultraboost Mids. Again, I like how they look by itself, but these are quite a bit harder to style. They're not as versatile. The process of taking on and off the shoe is quite a burden and a hassle, hence why it's pretty low on this list. And overall, it's just a weak contender compared to everything else. Last but not least, the least value bang for my buck anyway, was the Y3 Pureboost. Again, these are very stylish, but for this being my most expensive sneaker, it's just not as comfortable, it's not as versatile, and it just doesn't serve the purpose for the price I paid compared to everything else above the list. So yeah, there's my list. I surprised myself, but I would actually say that the last category, which is the quality per price, that's kind of my overall category. And with that being said, the Inikis were apparently my #1 Boost sneaker out of this entire collection. So let me know down in the comments below whether you agree or disagree. Of course, my collection's a little limited. There's some other Boost sneakers I haven't tried or I don't own. Some examples are the Night Joggers, the Solar Boosts, and the Slides, just to name a few. But if you have any of those sneakers, let me know in the comments below as well where you would put those on the list. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Also, click here if you want to check out my Terrex Hiker review, and click here if you want to check out my other Ultraboost video. My channel is also going to be focused on sneaker reviews, sneaker discussions, fashion and streetwear, and things of that sort. Feel free to subscribe if you're interested in those topics. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.